So, yay! It worked, no problems. Okay, so hello everybody out there, if anyone's watching. Uh, this is another episode of GameOut. This month we played Princess Maker 2, and we're going to talk about it.
I can't wash away the shame.
So here with me today is Robert and Kat, and hopefully soon Linda will be showing up. So I guess I'll start out with first impressions, and then hopefully she'll pop in back during that. So I'm going to start with Robert.
Best game ever. Highly accurate to real life.
Totally.
Raising children. My first impressions were fairly negative, not so much because of the content matter, but just because the game is super dated. I mean, it's just the icons were hard to read, and Sonia pretty much had to give me some guidance through it because at a certain point I just didn't have the patience to try and figure out what each of the buttons were. Yeah, it's visually extremely dated. At
least it was in English.
I was turned off very quickly.
No. Okay. Kat, what was your first impression of the game?
The feminist nightmare. Feminist nightmare. Basically, okay, so you're playing a guy who controls this little girl's every aspect of her life, where she goes to school, what she does. You can make her go to a whorehouse if you want. Well, basically, it's a sleazy bar. And make her work there, and not only that, but also you make her work for you for money, and you garnish her wages.
Yeah, that's right.
And then like in the end, and even like the best endings are perverted. Like in the best ending, like you become queen of the land and you marry your father. Ew, gross. Even though she's not blood related to you, which they make a note of. I'm guessing that it's okay to marry your ward, but incest is out. And then like. In every single thing, usually you end up marrying. It has to end with you marrying someone, and if not, they're like, "Oh, she'll never marry and have children of her own." And then you can be a prostitute. It's just like, oh god, like,
yeah.
This game solidifies why we still need feminism.
What I find funny is that our resident feminist, Linda, was the one that recommended it.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
They say extreme. You use extremes to prove they exist. This proves it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's kind of why I like to play games like this. But also, I kind of like to make fun of it a little bit because they are pretty ridiculous. But they do have their entertaining values and addicting values as well. Because I kind of found I'm like, oh, I gotta make her better at this, and I just kept like making her go to school, and I'm like, oh, I don't have enough money, so she's got to go to work so she could go here and be better at this. And I'm like, the first route I took was more like I want the warrior kind of a girl, and then I'm like, but now I want to know what the whole like inside the aristocratic world. So then I had to make her like all prim and proper and stuff, and so I mean, if you're not thinking about the creepiness of this father figure who could possibly
it satisfies the male id. That's all it does.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just kind of think of it as like a sim game that you're trying to power your character through and get them their stats up, then that's fun too, I guess. But
yeah, but still, the whole game is based around making a female this certain way, which is viewed acceptable by society, often dictated by men.
Oh.
So sorry.
Or in Sonia's case, dictated by a woman.
Exactly. Oh, Linda, you have arrived.
I have.
I missed you. Thank you for coming.
Yay!
So we just did our first impressions of the game. I pretty much said that it's kind of a game that I wanted to play out of curiosity, and also because I kind of make fun of these sorts of games because they're kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, it's fun to build up your character if you're just looking at it in that perspective,
Yeah.
So what was your first impression, Linda?
Well, my first impression was, like, I watched my friend play it during college, and I thought it was messed up and kind of intriguing because, obviously, like, RPG elements like that where you get to build up, stats and stuff is kind of awesome. But, of course, playing it now, in my adult years, my inner feminist was like, no, this is wrong! I'm angry!
I know.
Oh, I meant to take a screenshot of one of the best quotes in the game, but I missed it. So, oh well.
What was it?
Oh, that's okay. You can basically go on YouTube and look at all 70 endings.
That's
Most
true.
bad.
Well, it's not the best quote in the game, but when you go and chat up the general, if you have enough crap, what stat is that? Anyway,
Charisma or something?
yeah, you're all poised. It's not charisma, it's the refined or whatever refinement.
Yeah.
He says something like, it's he basically implies something like a woman, it's important for a woman to know how she can impress a man or something. I'm like, yeah, because.
God.
I think I got to that point. I think it's decorum. I think you have to have it. It's also refinement. It's both of those. It's like
It is refinement because once you get over 100, you can speak to a knight, and then maybe it's whatever.
I had tea with the queen, so I did really good.
Yeah, I actually haven't finished. I still have her at age 15. I didn't get to finish today like I wanted, but.
Science.
My cat, what was that?
That's the route that science again.
Mm-hmm.
Smart girl.
Yeah. So, I guess Robert spoke of the dated look of the game. What did you guys think of the art and the gameplay, even though it was dated? I guess Kat.
I've played games like this in the past, sim games where you have to build up a character's stats, and often when I was younger, when I played them, I would spend a lot of time being confused, just trying to understand how the game works. And viewing this, it wasn't the worst that I've seen in the world, but it probably would take me a bit to it takes me a bit to acclimate, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I wish that they would make it more straightforward, because I could give you like a billion choices and like they overwhelm you with choices, and then it just seems like the older you get, the more sleazier your choices get.
Yeah.
Oh, your daughter's 15. Well, guess what? Now you can make her work at the sleazy bar.
Yeah, totally acceptable.
Well, think of the time and the era, like 15. Like, how old is that supposed to really be?
And there was an
Like
amulet you could wear to make your bust bigger.
Yeah. Depending on how you fed her, I think, right? Was it like if you gave her a robust diet, her boobs got bigger, but if you didn't, they didn't? I don't know.
Is that what it was?
I thought it was your diet.
Well,
The amulet.
we can cover the diets later because I have thoughts on that.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Cover every aspect of a female's life in the most misogynistic way possible. Put it into a game. And in the end of the game, in the credits, would they roll? In the YouTube videos I've seen, what do they roll? They roll her measurements, how much she weighed, her height, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the measure of a woman to you people. This is all you cared about.
It's a very Japanese thing, doing the 3 measurements.
They need feminism.
So what was the question again?
It was about the
The quality.
art and the gameplay mechanics. Even though it's dated, like, what do you think of it?
Okay. Well, I guess I can go then. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to like dated games, like I don't really get my standards up too high because it's like, well, what do you expect? It's obviously outdated, whatever. But like, I kind of like the art actually. Like, I really enjoyed the monsters, like especially the kidnapper. He's like freaking hilarious. He's got like a purse in his bag. Anyway, it's just ridiculous. But
I guess my issue with the art was not so much the style, but just the interface. like because it was not very intuitive, at least not for me at first.
What parts of it?
Well, just you've got the menu is like what 6 or 8 buttons, and they've all got like a different picture, and
Yeah, they
the
don't explain what they are. You have to click on them and be like, what is this? Okay.
yeah, and then like when you get in there and you do something, wasn't always like a confirm button, and just little things like that. Just not streamlined in terms of interface, but the art style made sense for the time at least.
It tricks you into thinking that it might be like an adventure story for kids and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, this isn't for kids. This game is not for kids.
Oh no, not at all.
Uh,
It's like a lighter version of a hentai game, basically,
Yeah.
without the sex.
oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really partial to pixel art, so I guess that's why I liked it. I know control-wise, I didn't like during the adventures if like the collision was weird sometimes, where if you'd be pressing right and she'd be walking right, and then suddenly she'd start going up because the collision there was saying, "Oh, go up if you're holding right," and you're like, "No." You're like, "No, I want you to go right." So I don't know. So it's like I don't know. I don't
I
like
think
that.
the battle. I think that the exploring the world is kind of more of an afterthought programming. Because
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
put all
Yeah.
the money into the
Those
stack.
were the worst. Yeah, those were the worst pixel art in the game. Like the adventures. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only part of the adventures that the art I liked was, like you were talking about, the creatures, the monsters.
Yeah.
That
I
was good.
I thought it was funny because I don't know if anybody else wondered about this, but the fact that you have a talk option for monsters and literally none of them you can really talk to, I'm like, what's the point?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
If you
I
get
know.
really, really intelligent, you can just talk your way out of them. And they're like, "Oh, you're so smart." Well, we're gentlemen of the Batman. Gentlemen of
the intelligent ones, like
Yeah.
the ones that
The
speak.
fact-
That's good.
Was
Yeah, if you get smart enough, you can talk your way out of trouble.
I was wondering if you could do that with dragons if your charisma's high enough, but I haven't. Yeah, I don't know.
I need to play a different version where I am completely like all combat and all charisma, so I can figure out how that works.
Yeah, we need to share what we did because I ran into a lot of very interesting things that I want to see if anybody else did.
So I'll quickly talk about how I felt about the mechanics and the art, and then we can all share either what we experienced or what we did or whatever. So I like the art for the most part. The mechanics were hard because I felt like it was hard to tell sometimes what I was clicking on. Like it took me many, many times to remember, oh, this is where I go to talk to people in the court. This is where I go to buy things. I kept switching back and going, no, I didn't want to go there. And then I felt like that ended up taking me longer than I wanted to do things because I had to play it so much to remember which one was which because they're so tiny and it's hard to tell. And
Yeah.
I think another thing too, working on an emulator, the worst part about it is that you can't
up-res it.
enlarge it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that it would be like really pixelated and probably yucky looking, but at least I could see things better, and I had trouble with that, so that was a little bit hard. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really how it would be when you're playing the original. Do you know what system the original was on?
Probably like Windows 95 or something.
I think it was a game system. I think it was like a
Oh.
Sega Saturn or something like that.
Let me look on my phone while you talk.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then my favorite art probably was just like you were saying, the monsters and that, and actually kind of even though the little animations were corny, I kind of liked them. I liked the
Which
cooking
ones?
contest and the little dancing contest. It was so corny.
Oh.
It's like I spent all this time teaching my girl how to dance, and all she does is spin in a circle. I'm like, okay,
Oh, I never did the
that's
dancing.
what you learned in class, just to do this. Like, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
If you were focused on replay value, I mean, you would probably play it again only just to see if you get a less sucky ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what ending I get when I'll maybe try to finish it this week, but
You can ask the fortune teller.
Oh, so I
You
always
give me
use the
stupid
fortune teller.
information. I hate the fortune teller.
You're gonna be a housewife. Oh no.
God.
You know what part I didn't like is when you talk to the father. Oh, when you talk to the daughter,
Father-daughter
and
chat.
she's like, they're asking about your studies, and I spent all this time teaching her how to fight and teaching her how to like cook and teaching her how to dance and everything like that. And she's like, I'm good at housework. I'm like, no, you're good at a lot of other things.
Yes, that was the thing. She always talk about that. Like, I'm not good. They would always put, in all the dialogue, the women would always put themselves down.
Yeah. I'm not very good at this, or I'm not very good at that. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you are, because I've been spending time making you good.
I think they only take the highest stat because my girl always said, after a while, all she said was, I am good with the sword and I can crush anybody's armor. And then she'd occasionally be like, I'm so bad at art. And I'm like, I'm teaching you art, woman. You're not bad at it.
I know.
I don't think they give you enough time so that you can actually get good at all the stats. You have to focus. If you focus on too many stats, I think that's how you get the blah ending.
I think it depends. I think it depends. Like, yeah, to some degree.
Did you find out what system that's on?
Yeah, I've got PC 98, FM Towns. I don't know what these are. PC Engine, Sega Saturn, MS-DOS, Windows, Macintosh, GP32, and PlayStation 2.
I got a Sega Saturn.
Yeah, I could believe it was.
Yeah, we used to have a Sega Saturn,
What year did this come out?
but I never played that game.
1993.
It wasn't. They never had an official English release of it. It's a mod of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to play it anyway.
I wonder if the translation is perfect with the dialogue.
It looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think it's. Well, I know. I mean, we can't say, right?
Yeah.
But it looks pretty good to me. So.
Because I'm thinking, like, what if... No, I doubt it, but I'm thinking, like, what if, like, they just got lazy and were like, let's just have, like, 5 responses for her and not forget about the rest of them. We don't want to...
Well, here's the question, though. Whoever translated it, were they doing it to make money or to spread the game to the public for free so that everybody can enjoy it?
Oh, with that.
Yeah, because when it's the latter, you'd be amazed how detailed and invested, like, fans can get. Like, fan subs, like, with anime, like, sometimes they're better than, like, the professional ones.
Yeah.
All the footnotes, if there's, like, a pun or something that doesn't make sense in English, but, like, American, or, like, professional ones will just be like, oh, well, let's just make it make sense for an American crowd, I don't know.
I hope it's the later, because I figure if the emulator's free, the game is basically free. I would think it would be just fans trying to spread it around, and it's old, so I don't know how much profit you could really make off of this game. I don't know.
You never get past the Parent Teachers Association nowadays.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess we can now talk about the situations we saw, the endings and everything else. No, I know, Robert, you didn't get to an ending, but if you did, if you had played longer, what would you have invested your stats in? I'll just go with you first, and then we'll all talk about what we did.
How much did you play, Robert?
Not a lot.
Like
I
1
got
minute.
pretty frustrated pretty quick.
What age did you get her to?
Oh, I don't even
13, I
know.
think.
What?
I think you got her to like 13.
Something like that.
You put her on vacation.
I did, literally. I
Well, no, time off. Time off, like all the time.
when the game started, it was like, how do you want to schedule your daughter's time? And I was like, looking at the options, and I go, oh, free time. You know what? She just came out of the sky, in glowing orb. I'm giving her some free time, And so I occupied her entire month with free time so she could just,
You were
relax.
way too nice to her.
But I gave her free time, and what did she do? She left. For weeks. The entire month she was gone, and every time she came back, she would ask for some money. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You're not old enough to be running around.
Sounds like having a teenager.
Yeah, but she wasn't even a teenager yet.
She was like a little girl, and
It
she
was
was
the little, I don't know how old she is when you first get her, but it's like she was just
She's
like,
11.
I'm like, go have some free time, and she's like, bye, and she's just gone for a week.
She's going on
you
an
just let her
adventure.
go run off.
Like a school teacher, you gotta be firm with them in the beginning, or they'll walk all over you. Then as you go on, you can have more fun.
Yeah. But then I realized I was running out of money, and I couldn't make money, so I had to have her make money.
Put her to work.
Money.
I was just like, well, what's
You're
the
like a
point? How am I
pimp.
supposed to provide for my space daughter if I don't have any money?
Yeah, because saving the kingdom obviously doesn't get you any money.
Yeah.
All you have to
exactly.
do is wait for what is it, like a year, and they give you money.
Oh, is that what happened?
$500, like for the whole year.
Robert, I think you're the wrong demographic for this game.
Maybe.
You're not enough of a tyrant.
I guess.
You have to be cruel.
No, he's not a misogynist. That's what it is.
Yeah. See, I happened to overhear my friend playing it during college, and she was always like, "No, you have to go to work. We have to make money." So, like, I kind of had an idea of what the game was like anyway. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't feel bad. Whatever.
I know. I just I know it's not, it's a bad game, but at the same time it's funny to just be bad.
Yep.
I find it more funny that somebody spent so many hours programming this piece of tripe.
Yeah. It is pretty ridiculous, but
Maybe it was a girl.
Well, look at.
It was. I'm pretty sure I knew who she was working for.
Wait, a girl made this game?
No, I'm just saying maybe it was a girl who decided to do all of the.
Well, I mean, look at how many
translations.
hentai games are out there. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of time poured into those games. Well,
Mhm.
awkward. Anyway.
How
Yeah.
many women do you think were the head of video gaming companies in the mid-90s?
I'm not talking about the people that made the game. I'm talking about the ones that did the translations and
Oh, that could have been. That
Yeah.
could have been a woman.
yeah.
Oh, whatever, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think the game's hilarious, but sometimes I'm like, wait, that's kind of gross, awkward.
I know.
Okay, whatever.
I made her summer dress. I'm like, no, wrong.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's too high cut. No!
Like, kids.
I know the dress. It's like it was barely covering her up. I'm barely a dress. I'm wondering if when you're watching this game, you're like, okay, is my character a pedophile or something? Why would I buy that for my daughter?
I'm pretty much assuming that, yeah.
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 Pretty much.
So
Images of Princess Maker. What?
So
what,
I don't
what
know.
did you do?
Who?
What did you do in
Oh,
your
me?
adventures?
Okay, so I started by, making her fight because I was like, okay, well, I need to make money, and whatever, fighting is the easy way to go. And eventually, I became curious with different things because, like, I found that at the desert, if you spend that, like I told you, Sonia, the other day, if you spend the night, if you camp in front of the cave, the demon cave, this group of demons shows up, and they're basically offering, hey, little girl, you want a drink? And at first, she's like, no, I'm underage. And they're like, okay, you're lost. And then every other time you go there, she's like, okay, I'll take one sip. So she drinks, and then her sin jumps up like 100 points.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
For one drink.
So I've gotten to the point, I've gone there over and over thinking, okay, surely eventually something will happen. I'm at the point where she's maxed out in her sin, and I don't know what that's going to mean.
She's
And
gonna be a streetwalker.
yeah, and
No, I
I've
think
also...
she'll be
Demon
She'll be
King.
the demon, probably.
Well, that's what I was kind of hoping, because, yeah, what I also did is when the salesman came around, he had, like, a demon pendant or whatever, and I was like, okay, that has to mean something. So I kept it, and if you go in the demon cave with, why are there two Roberts?
Yeah, there are two Roberts.
They're multiplying.
I was somehow kicked out.
No.
Weird. Well, anyway.
Looking at all these very
I'm sure you're
ridiculous
sad,
Princess
Sonia.
Maker screen caps.
But yeah, like, if you go in the demon cave, usually he'll kick you out. He's like, humans aren't allowed here. But if you have the demon pendant in your inventory, he'll be like, oh, I'll take that, and I'll give you Xerxes' wish or Xerxes' gift or something. And it basically takes 200 of your morality or your morals, and it gives you, like, 200 charisma or something. It, like, pumps up a ton of your stats. So And then I've also been dealing with the dragon. If by the time I think you're 15, if you go visit that old dragon in the desert, he'll finally start actually talking to you because he's like, "You're too young, go away."
Yeah.
But when you're 15, he's like, "Oh, you're pretty. Here, have some gold." He gives you more gold the more charisma you have. So eventually he's like, "Come closer. I want to get a good look at you." And you can go closer. And of course he's like a perv dragon, so he like
Oh
licks you.
no!
And then he's like, "Here, have these clothes. They'll look good on you." And they're like,
They're skimpy, right?
they're really inappropriate. They're called dragon tights, and they up your, I think they up your charisma and your battle defense or something. But I want to go. I haven't gotten to the point where I go back to him wearing them, so I don't know what'll happen. But I'm just
Oh
like,
gosh. No.
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping she becomes a demon because right now her charisma's high. She's good at art, dancing, combat, but she has no morality apparently. She's at 0. She's got 999 sin. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen here.
What have
No,
you
the
done,
sin should
Linda?
end at 666.
You've corrupted her.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I don't
I'm
know if
honestly,
that means
I'm
anything.
curious if the ending, if your sin is maxed out, if you're always gonna become the same job at the end, or if it's just a side thing. Because I know you become a harlot if none of your stats are high and you have really high sin, right, or something like that.
Oh, so you don't have to have any skills, really?
I assumed
You don't
that.
have to be like a dancer, or like
Just looks.
yeah, or pretty.
Yeah, when we were watching the endings ages ago, Sonia, on YouTube, like all of them just back to back, I noticed that the harlot had like no skills. They were
Oh,
almost at
And
0.
no clothes.
so that's
See,
what yours
that's
would have become,
interesting.
Robert. You
What?
just let her vacation the whole time. She becomes a harlot.
Yep.
True. I gave her too much freedom, and she rebelled.
See, mine never ran away. She just got delinquent every now and then. But then by the time she was 14 or 15, she didn't get delinquent as easily for some reason. I don't know why.
I think when they have the stats that are like combat and when you kind of teach them like the etiquette and stuff like that, I think they stop doing that. I think it's when they don't have those skills that they disappear. Because I
It's
noticed that
stress.
too. Like my first one was like that.
Yes, there you go,
She
Brad.
rebels when there's stress. If you give her, if for the week, if you work her and then make her do something and then give her 1 week off and during the month, and it keeps her stress levels down and she doesn't rebel because she's happy.
Yeah, I tried to give her time off at the end of the month, just so that she wouldn't leave and wouldn't get so stressed that she would lose interest in doing things and mess up at work and all that stuff. So
Yeah, isn't it great when they just, it's like, she didn't do any work today, and she's just on the corner
she
like,
just sits there, like all angry.
Oh, what's even worse is when you schedule them all month for the same activity, and let's say it's a class, you run out of money, so you don't get to take classes all month.
I
And,
know.
or you choose a line of work that you're like, oh, let's try hunting, and then she like sucks at it, so you make no money either. You're like, damn it.
If you go and work at the church, they give you money for just showing up.
Yeah.
Really?
Same thing for the graveyard too. You just sit there. You don't really do anything.
Do you get any stats from it?
Your stress goes up. I think your magic resist or something like
Magic
that.
defense.
Magic defense, yeah, that goes up.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah,
She always did lumberjacking in my game.
yeah.
'cause
I
she was
made
good
her
at it,
lumberjack
so-
like so much.
The way I found best to make money is what you do is you start with a skill like cooking, and it'll take you a really long time to get good at it. So you work at the church, so you do cooking one of the week, you go to the church the other one, then you relax, and you just keep doing this until eventually she gets good enough at cooking where she starts earning money, and then you can start getting enough money to start putting her to school.
Yeah.
Where do you earn money with cooking?
Well, the thing is that
There's a
when you
restaurant.
first start to cooking,
Oh, that's right.
you win the cooking contest eventually if you get good enough
Yes.
at it.
I won it. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of contests, so I assume the prize for every contest if you get first place is the royal sword, right? Or
I
is
think
it
you
just
get that for the cooking. You just get like $1,000 or something.
Oh, for the combat you get 3,000 and a sword.
Oh, I take that back. The cooking contest, when you get first place, you get like $1,000 and you get this egg.
Oh, okay, so you get something.
Yeah.
better.
Don't eat it!
Yeah, I didn't eat it. It turned into a chick, and it was all like, "Thank you for not eating me," and it's all cute, and then it flies
Well,
away.
And it,
I
goes,
like
it
it.
increases your
Eat it.
stats.
Hmm?
It increases your stats for
That too.
sensitivity.
she's like, I'm glad I didn't eat it.
So wait, what happens if you do eat it?
I don't know. I didn't eat it, but I'm assuming maybe like some kind of health or something. I don't know.
Well, so with the royal sword, I ended up winning a second time, and I was like, okay, well I assumed like, oh, I have 2 now. I'm gonna go sell one because it's probably worth a pretty penny. So of course I go to the pawn shop, and and I end up getting this cutscene where the general and the king basically show up. Why would the king show up? Whatever.
Yeah.
But they show up and they're like,
It's
how
Saturday.
dare you sell this royal present from the king? It's an insult, blah, blah, blah. And you basically lose, like, you either lose popularity or, well, basically they're pissed off at you.
So you just
So,
have to keep the identical swords? That's lame.
well, the thing is, I realized later that I didn't even have 2 swords. It just basically is like, oh, well, you already have it, so you just
Don't
have
get
it
it.
in inventory, whatever.
Mm.
But I thought that was kind of a hilarious detail, that you shouldn't sell it because they will get pissed at you. They're like, how dare you try to sell
No
this
regifting.
shopkeeper
Yeah.
trying to make money and or trying to rip you off, blah blah. I don't know.
I know. So, did you finish one of your games?
No, I'm going to soon, but
Okay.
I didn't get to today.
I finished
I also-
too.
I want to start again and focus on refinement and stuff, because now that I know how you can raise your charisma to ridiculous levels, I want to do that and be refined. So I don't know. We'll see if that works.
Yeah, my first game, unfortunately, I didn't save it right, so
Oh yeah.
I lost. I was so mad. I'm like, I didn't know how to save it because, again, confusion on the whole like how to play. I didn't figure out how to save until I screwed it up. So she wasn't doing so well anyway. She kept leaving, and I figured, she's probably gonna end up being a harlot. So I just was like, whatever, I'll just start over. So my
Then
first,
hentai games happen.
yeah,
It's a setup. It's like a coming or a backstory for every hentai game ever.
yep.
Oh god.
I
So,
missed the Dreamcast.
why-
I used to download games for it. I had like every Nintendo game on a Dreamcast and like a bunch of like those old computer games on a Dreamcast disc.
Yeah.
What's I gonna say?
Why can't we have something similar like that for emulators?
Mm.
So what
So-
endings did you guys get?
I got I built up like a bunch of her stats for her to be kind of like okay at everything. And then she just ended up being a homemaker and
What?
marrying a
Yeah.
merchant and they said she had basically had a very boring life. I'm like, oh,
God.
okay.
Yes, because
So if
getting
you
married and having
go to
kids.
school and you do okay, you're gonna be a homemaker and marry some just regular dude and have a boring life.
Is that what the fortune teller told you she was gonna be?
No, she said I was gonna be I think she said I was actually going to be a homemaker.
I see. Well, that's no fun if she actually says what you're gonna. Well, I guess whatever.
Yeah,
Well, so you
I
can
thought
change your stats around.
I thought I would do better because I was trying to put more into everything, but it didn't work out. So then the second time, I'm like, okay, so I want to have like a more interesting ending, so I'm just gonna like put a whole bunch of stats into like a couple things. So and also I wanted to like get her to be able to talk to like, people in the court and stuff like that because I wanted to see what they were gonna say just out of curiosity. So I stuck a whole bunch of stuff in dancing and a whole bunch of stuff in the protocol.
Yeah.
And like a little bit in science. And she ended up becoming a dancer.
What?
So, but no, like a ballet dancer. She had like this ballet outfit on at the end, and she's all la in the picture. And she basically though she became like she did become the prima ballerina though. She became like okay, and I guess became a dance teacher herself. And she did get married to some merchant guy. But like she did this great grand performance and she like failed halfway through it and I'm just like, oh, I tried so hard. I wanted her to be the prima ballerina, but she wasn't prima ballerina. She was just kind of like an okay dancer.
Forgettable.
The moral of the story is don't live vicariously through your children.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be disappointed.
I know. I didn't get the prima ballerina I wanted. I was sad. But I mean, they said her life, she was happy though, so I'm like, okay, I guess I did okay, I guess. So that I didn't get another ending though. That was it, because I would have gotten 3 if I hadn't messed up my first game. But yeah, so that's what I got.
There's
So,
some
Kat, what other endings did you see that we didn't talk about? Like, how did those go?
Well, let's see. You can be a harlot. You can be a
And then
you can be a dominatrix. You can be a yes, you can basically bondage queen.
Oh my
how?
God. How does that work?
I don't remember how it works. You I don't know. As I said, I just watched the ending and a bunch of the endings. You can be all sorts of things. You can be like you can be a fighter. You can be they said a dancer. You can be the queen, and then you end up marrying your father.
Blah. So gross.
You're not related by blood, though. I mean, it's
I know, they're like, well, I guess it's technically okay.
Oh my God.
like Woody Allen.
Oh no.
You can be a nun.
apparently you can take her clothes off. That's
That's the harlot.
uh,
A harlot. Can't you be? Don't you get to be like a soldier too?
Yeah, you can be a soldier, you can be a martial arts teacher. Those are the 2 things the fortune teller has told me. And I'm like, great.
yeah. What respectable things can she become?
Here, I'll look it up for you real fast.
Probably a scientist because of science and stuff, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, let's see. You can be a high-class harlot. You can be work in the sleazy bar. You can marry. You can get married to Luciphon, the fortune teller. You can become Princess of Darkness,
marry
the
the
queen. Gesture career and marry the dragon prince. Warrior hero, royal concubine. Basically, no matter what, there's going to be a lot of sex.
Yes. They're all
Except for the
jobs
warrior
relating-
hero or the nun.
They're all jobs relating to her value to a man, so, you know.
Is there an ending where she marries the dragon? I'm curious.
Yes. It's
Oh
always
God, I hope not.
There
Oh,
is?
Oh, don't kid yourself, Linda. That was the first thing you were trying to do.
Dude, no. He's always talking about, like, you know, I'm near the end of my life, and God, he's such a sleaze. Because he's like, oh, humor a poor old dragon who's near the end of his lifetime, and I'm just kidding with you, and oh, here, have these pretty clothes, they look good on you. And she's like, but this is a piece of fabric. And he's like, no, just pick them, they'll look good on you. And it's like, awkward.
Wait, you can marry the dragon?
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm totally going to try to get that ending then, because that's nasty.
I didn't
Let's
see
get
that
both
ending.
of
It must have. It's probably in YouTube.
So, can you become a demon then, for
yes,
real?
you can kill the demon king, and then and then someone has to become, and then basically the most badass person on Earth has to become the demon king or queen.
Cool.
What are the prerequisites for doing that?
Killing the demon
Like,
king.
You probably have to have a lot of fighting.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is this stuff you do
Combat.
in-game, or is it something that happens at the end game?
Ooh, I found all the listings. Okay, you can become
I'm thinking
ruling
ending.
queen, prime minister, archbishop, cabinet minister, scholar, nun, judge, researcher, lady in waiting, queen by marriage, royal concubine, courtess, millionaire's wife, merchant's wife, farmer's wife, mistress. Oh God, that picture needs to be censored. Divorcee.
A what?
A
You really? In that
divorcee.
time?
A
What?
maid, and domestic training. And
So
I think it's
oh,
really,
wait, there's more. Nursemaid,
okay.
innkeeper, farmer, church worker, chef, lumberjack, hairdresser,
Yes.
mason, hunter,
Lumberjack.
keeper, tutor, bartender, bar wench, cabaret dancer, hero warrior, general, officer of the royal guard, fighting instructor, knight, soldier, bounty hunter, mercenary, hero magician, royal magician, magic instructor, sorceress, magician, fortune teller, street magician, street performer. It just goes on. Gesture,
God.
writer, artist, dancer. God, please end. Bondage queen, crime boss, bandit. God,
I
that's
want to be
really
the crime boss.
high class prostitute, con artist, prostitute, princess of darkness.
Oh my God.
This is the worst game ever.
There's some things in there that are interesting though, like
Oh, I've seen
Archbishop
worse.
and all that.
High-class prostitute?
She's a companion.
No, I think companions have a lot more money than that.
Yeah,
Well,
I
what
think so,
I
too.
just thought about one of my favorite lines in the thing is when you don't have any you don't have a lot of etiquette or whatever, and you go to talk to the concubine, and you start to say, "Oh, aren't you the king's concubine?" I guess she doesn't like that, so she tells you to leave.
Oh,
Like she gets offended. I'm like, oh god.
God, women.
Bar wench, bartender. Oh, God.
Okay, so I just remembered actually. So my thoughts on the diets. So
Oh, yeah.
I made a point. I was like, okay, I don't care about her being well, I wasn't gonna try to make her lose weight because I'm like, okay, what will happen if I just raise her on a normal diet? So I just put her on a normal diet for her whole childhood, and then by the time I bought her, because I always remembered when I tried to do the dance competition, it's like, oh well, you have nothing to wear, and I was like, what? So I tried buying her a silk dress or something.
Oh no.
And suddenly, when she was 14, I think, then it was like, oh, it seems that she'll have to shed a few pounds to be able to fit into this dress, and I'm like, what? So I looked at her weight stuff, and I'm like, she's only 88, or she's only 90 pounds. And then I put her on a diet for months, and it was like, how much weight do they want me to lose before she can fit into this?
I'll let her go on the seaside vacation. That's apparently the best way to make her lose weight.
Really?
Seaside? Oh wow.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say going to the mountains made her gain weight when I took her on one vacation. I was like, wow, okay.
That
Seaside.
winter weight.
I didn't notice that when I took her to the seaside. I didn't notice if she lost any weight.
Yeah.
Well, considering this was made in Japan, I'm sure 90 pounds is pretty heavy.
Yeah. She's not that tall either.
Yeah, she's 4 foot something.
Yeah.
God.
She's 4'10".
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Okay, so she's slightly taller than Sailor Moon. Who I think is
Wow.
4'8".
She's that short?
Even though she looks like she's 7'12" in the.
I know. She's got
She's all legs.
She's only 4'8".
Yeah, she's 7 heads tall, long legs. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. That's really strange.
The sense it does not make.
Nope.
It's okay. It's Japanese hentai level class game, so what do you expect?
I know.
How do you expect her to have a large rack if she's that thin? Do you know
know,
that
right?
breasts are fat?
Well, no.
Because standards of beauty are do not make sense.
No, they don't. And yet, for some reason, we're made to adhere to them.
Yep. Or made to feel bad for not
Adhering to them. People, I just think I think the problem with this society that is run by this is that people don't know what they want, and when they think they know what they want, they don't want that, and then they make you just want something else, and then they scold you for wearing makeup, even though you're the ones who told them to wear makeup in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna go into all philosophical stuff from this game.
I know.
What else can we do?
I know.
I'm not going to
It's
go.
our coping mechanism.
Oh, goodness.
Robert, what is your thoughts on this? Because you've been quiet.
I think it's completely inappropriate. Please don't hate me.
No, no.
We just said you weren't a misogynist.
Oh, thank God.
Remember, we said that earlier.
You're that. I mean, I think Linda and I were making our girls trying to make them terrible.
Yeah, you're the best dad.
The thing I find what I was thinking about was the fact that okay, here's the question I have for you. If there was a game like this where it was a build your own daughter type thing, right? And you had trashy and respectable futures for this person in such a way that it was balanced. If you did certain things, you would create a harlot. If you did other things, you'd create a doctor. Do you think if the game was executed properly in that way, it would be a little less offensive?
You mean have a harlot doctor?
Yes.
It depends. It depends on if the implied main character is a man and that you are raising your daughter, or if it's that you are the daughter and you are raising yourself. Not that you're raising yourself, but that you are being like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to build my own stats.
Yeah.
I do what I want.
I think
did-
it'd be interesting if you were actually like the deity, and you were, guiding the daughter.
Or you're just yourself, really. Would be.
Or you're just third person, like you're just like this, outside of it, and you're just telling the girl what to do, but you're not a parent.
You're
Although
guiding her.
that's like the whole thing of like in some animes where the kids live by themselves. It's like, where are
Yeah.
their parents? I don't know. That's always
Where are your
confusing
parents?
to me too.
There are a lot of emancipated children in anime.
Yeah.
Um,
But
Yeah.
I
I
think
don't know.
I
I
think
guess-
the game is pretty ridiculous. I mean, I think that's why, like, part of me wanted to do something silly, and that's why I was sending her on vacations, and that didn't seem to work out. And then I don't know.
It forces you to make her work a little bit, unless you want to go in the red. Now they allow you to go into the red to feed her, but you can't buy other things. You can't send her to school or anything like that. But has anybody gotten so deep in debt that they couldn't do anything? Like,
No.
is that a scenario? I wonder, because I'm thinking, how far in debt will this game let you go before it starts to say something?
I don't know. You could literally just play through the game like Robert's been doing. Just take time off all the time and just go into debt every month, do nothing, and just see how far you can go.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, I'm thinking like, okay, I understand. Well, they do give you money though. They give you that $500. So
Yeah, but maybe-
I save you from the abyss of nothingness and
Yeah.
damnation. You give me $500 a year.
yeah,
Well, how much does a robust diet cost?
for, 60, I think.
Okay,
Emphasis
so
on
if it's
the
60 per month and you have 12 months,
Yeah,
is that enough to still have a good negative number after the 500 gets added to it?
it should.
Yeah, it's like 700 or so, right?
Yeah, but I'm wondering like how far until. I guess I could try it, see what happens, because I wonder. I mean, Kat, on all the scenarios, did they mention like anything about being in severe debt? If that makes a difference?
Not that I noticed, but most of the people who I watched play the games and the other to find out the endings were very astute players, and they knew how to avoid problems. Like I described even in the game, like just to make money because to work at the church because you don't need any skill. So
Yeah.
while you're building up a skill and something that that's something that is more useful, and they're not paying you because they're skin flints. You can make money that way.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, this game, like, as stupid and silly as it is really fun, and it is sort of addictive, and I'm almost inspired to make my own version that isn't as
Yeah.
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 offensive, because
I
I'm
would
like,
like
hey,
to
it's-
see. I would like to see a version made by a woman, so possibly the female character will act a little more like a woman. Because even all of her reactions and stuff, I was wondering,
Yeah.
well, how true to life is that? Is this how a girl would react, or is this how a
Right.
guy wants a girl or thinks a girl would react?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to have a different variation on this game. But I do agree about it is addicting and it can be fun. But it's hard to play it as a woman because of that. But
you're
I
like,
think-
wait a minute.
yeah, I know. I'm like, no, I don't really want to do that. It's just
I mean, sometime I should play through the game and try to make her as hoochie as possible, like, get the big boobs and whatever. Because honestly, I just used it as money. I was like, hey, sweet, I bought some whatever, and I just sold it, got some money. I'm like, I don't need this. You're
Yeah.
fine just the way you are, daughter, except you're too fat.
yeah,
Keep in mind, in Japan, the marrying age is 16 for girls.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so basically it's a pedophile paradise.
Ugh.
Wait, what's the age 16? Where?
16 is the marriageable age for girls in Japan.
Really? Oh my gosh.
They're not even out of school
Donnie's
yet.
always saying, I'm going to get married.
Huh.
Well, I guess that is the equivalent to women in America at well, at 17 being engaged and getting married at 18, they're like, ah.
Well, in
You're
the
like,
UK, also the legal age of consent is 16, and even though I still think that's pedophilia by my standards in this
isn't that the
country, I think
American
you
age?
don't know anything at 16.
Yeah, isn't that the American age though too?
No, the legal age of consent is 18.
18.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
16. Yeah, no, it's true. I
Wait.
mean, honestly, I
Is
didn't
it everywhere, or is it just certain states?
In the United States, the federally 18 is the legal age of consent. The only way that you can marry, well, you can basically, if you have sex with someone who's the same age as you and you're underage, then it's not what's the word? It's not a statutory rape. But if you have sex with someone who is younger than the age of consent and you are older than that, is statutory rape. And it's the only way you can get out of that is if you actually have permission from the parents to marry at a young age.
Yeah.
Which happens with some people, like what was that celebrity, the washed-up guy who married the...
Didn't Macaulay Culkin marry really young?
I have no idea.
All right, we have 5 minutes left, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about all this later.
Okay. Well, we've talked about a lot of the aspects of the game. It's not really that complex. Oh, I guess real quick.
In a way, it is actually. I kind of like that about it, but except it doesn't do it right.
Yeah. I just really quick wanted to know what everybody thought about, because I know, Linda, you did a lot of the adventuring. What'd you think of? How entertaining was it? Like, did it stay entertaining throughout all the different lands?
The adventuring?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only problem with it is once you found all the treasure chest and all the secrets and stuff in each area, going back was kind of like, whatever. I'm just gonna go and kill monsters and make money, and that's it. So, I mean, like, the replay value of the adventures isn't as good because once you find everything, it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. I mean, I did some of the adventuring. I mostly just did the forest. I could not get to the first treasure chest. It kept, like, sending me through weird little portals, and I kept popping up in different places, and I tried to find the chest, and I'm like, well, where is it now? I can't see it.
Usually the holes, there's like those little holes, there's that one area where there's a hole next to a treasure chest, and it's in a little enclosed area.
Mm-hmm.
The holes are always next to each other that are led to each other, so I'm not using the correct words, but you know what I mean, I think.
Yeah.
Like, level design-wise, they're always nearby, so you're like, oh, well, that hole's there, so I need to find one nearby that I can go into.
I keep seeing Amelia go in there.
Yeah.
I sent you a link. Basically, it tells you all the endings you can get and what stats you need to actually get that ending.
Oh,
by the
awesome.
number.
Power gaming. I had asked that question I think on Twitter. How do I power game Princess Maker 2? So I'm just going to cheat now.
Puppy.
Aww.
Awkward.
Excellent. This conversation just got much cuter.
Yay, Amelia. I don't have a dog right here. Darn.
She just came happily in the room.
Aw, she's so cute. What did you think of it, Amelia? Bark, bark.
She slept all day today. Yeah, she hated
farmer's
me
wife
playing the
is
game
very
because it meant
particular.
she hated
What?
me playing the
The
game.
farmer's wife. There's just something about that picture. It's like something about it.
Let me see.
Although I guess, yeah, mistress. How's the mistress different than the royal concubine? I guess the mistress is the less official role.
Mistress. Oh my god. Oh, poor divorcee. Next.
Queen by marriage.
Nursemaid.
Domestic training.
Farmer. Oh, she's cute.
Farmer's wife. Whoa. High cut. Whoa. Whoa.
A regular farmer is cute, though. Oh my god, the mason, she's like, oh my goodness. The hunter, she's epic. She's got like a...
No, not the keyboard.
on her shoulder. I want to be the hunter.
My cat just walked across the keyboard.
Oh my gosh.
I missed him. I was looking at the pictures.
Bar wench.
I like the hunter. That one's my favorite. She's all rawr. I've got a giant animal on my back.
Oh my gosh, the hero warrior image, like she has no stomach. The fabric is literally hanging between her two iliac spines, like, you know, the bony landmarks on your hip.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally just sagging. There's like no stomach. I'm like, ew, creepy.
Which one is
That's
She
the,
fights so
the
hard.
hero
She
warrior.
is like bones.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
I don't see anything past page 3's domestic training.
The bounty hunter's costume is funny because she has like coverage except
Just
like
keep,
right. Or,
just keep hitting next.
Oh, there it is. Derp.
Oh,
Nursemaid.
hero magician.
Bounty
Oh.
hunter. Yeah, I'm really gonna bounty hunt and leave half of my torso exposed to attack.
Lumberjack. I love that.
She's the cutest gesture ever.
Mason. Hunter. Great.
Aw, I want to be the jester. So she just has to be
Honestly.
super popular and really good at art and conversation.
Hero.
I guess that makes sense in a way. I don't know. Oh, see, mine was the dancer. I got the dancer, the regular dancer.
Bounty hunter. Total like
Princess of
80s rock
Darkness.
man.
The crime boss
Holy
was
crap!
like, epic with those shoulder pads.
Did
Or
you
the
find
shoulder-
Bondage Queen? Jane Roberts, did you find Bondage Queen?
Not yet.
My girl might become a princess of darkness with my stats. Yeah.
Whoa! Look, she's got like stuff like all over her, like tattoos and everything.
It looks really stupid.
I know. I
There
like
it
the
is,
crime
Bondage
boss
Queen.
outfit.
Crime boss.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
High
All right,
crime
then.
prostitute.
That's where it's been the last bit of looking at all the things. Okay, well, so I guess would you guys recommend this game to other people to play?
No, I would never admit to anyone that I've played it, nor tell my mother.
I don't think I would tell my mother, but I think I would tell people that I got some entertainment value out of it.
Heck
Wow.
yeah. I think it's hilarious. I think everybody should play this game because I think it's kind of telling for how horrible they are, how depraved.
Yeah, you asked.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Robert, what about you?
I mean, certainly wouldn't be the first game I recommend to people, but it would certainly come up in conversation as a very wacky, ridiculous game.
Yes. It is good for conversation. So, I guess that's it then. So, hopefully everybody out there, whoever's watching, enjoyed our conversation. You can always watch all these videos back on YouTube, and I usually post them on G+, on Uncharted Interactive's G+ page. Next month it'll be on March. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, no, never mind. I was thinking it was the same day. March 30th. There's no holidays. No, okay.
Let me check something.
Let's play the Wolf.
Oh, what are you doing? Yeah.
GDC is happening. I think it's okay, actually. GDC is the week before.
Okay, cool. So March 30th, same time, same place. We had mentioned our interest in talking about our favorite games, and games that influenced us, I think.
Yeah, most influential games.
Most influential games, so we'll have a discussion about that. So,
Oh, that's
start your
right.
lists.
Yeah, that's right. It's specifically not your favorite game, but your most influential. They're separate.
Yeah.
So the games that have influenced you most, regardless of how you felt about them. Well, actually, that would be an interesting topic if you hate it, but it was still influential for some
It
reason.
influenced
Every
me,
video
but
game nerd exists for that reason.
I hated Princess Maker, but man, it's inspirational.
Yeah.
You never want to make that game ever, basically, right?
It's inspiring my future.
Well, it inspires me to make a game that's like it, except with it's not as controversial.
There you go.
But as addicting, which makes for a good game.
Well, the reason is because it's got so many endings, is that it has a lot of replay value.
That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna replay it. I wanna get like some of the really crazy like gesture and like, crime boss and all that. So I'm gonna try to get those.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep playing when I want, when I have time.
So I'm gonna say goodbye to the peoples out there. I'm gonna stop this. So bye everybody, and thank you for watching us. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo.